You think Power Automate is safe. It isn't. Workflows agent just ate its lunch while you were still dragging connectors like it's 2019. The truth? Conversational, intent-driven automation beats rigid, designer-driven flows for most everyday work. Say what you want, get the workflow, move on. No 47-click schema massage. You'll get a side-by-side reality check, not marketing. We'll measure, build time saved, error reduction, governance impact, and licensing cost. And yes, we'll talk DLP, auditability, environments, and approvals. Calm down. If you cling to cloud flows after this, that's a choice, an expensive one. Let's define the lanes before we race. Baseline, what Workflows Agent actually is versus Power Automate. Okay, so basically, Workflows Agent lives inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. Frontier label means early, English first, changing under your feet, directional, not courtroom evidence. It's an agent that turns natural language into automations across Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, Planner, and Microsoft Graph. You describe the outcome, it assembles the steps. It's not the Power Automate designer. It's not pretending to be. Think of Power Automate as a Lego kit, structured, deterministic, every brick placed by your meticulous, over-caffeinated hands. Think of Workflows Agent as an assistant who hears "build me a carport," grabs standard parts, and has it standing before you finish your latte. Will it match your exact architectural blueprint? Not yet. Will it shelter the car by lunch? Yes. Core distinction that most average users miss: workflow-based AI versus agentic AI. Today, Workflows Agent behaves like AI-accelerated workflows. It understands intent, composes a sequence, and runs it with context from Graph. Full autonomous, multi-hour, self-healing, multi-agent sagas? That's the roadmap, not the Tuesday morning reality. What it can do now: trigger on common events, read Outlook, post to Teams, write to SharePoint lists, create planner tasks, pull a manager via Graph, and run embedded AI steps for summarize, classify. It can test and show activity history. It handles the basics quickly. The edit surface is intentionally thin. You steer with words, not with 18 nested panes. What it can't do yet: complex branching with 5 parallel approvals, long-running SLAs, deep connector breadth across hundreds of third-party systems, and visual debugging that shows you every variable's miserable little life. Also, when the agent triggers external actions, you're working under a 100-second return window. Translation, don't chain a tax audit, licensing reality because someone will ask by slide 3, Power Automate is per user or per flow. Predictable, but it adds up at scale. Workflows Agent sits with Copilot and Copilot Studio, leaning on message-based consumption. If you already bought Copilot for knowledge workers who live in chat, the marginal cost of agent-built workflows trends down. If you're automating the entire back office with hundreds of headless flows, traditional Power Automate still pencils out. Governance and auditability. Breathe. Agent activity shows up in admin usage reports. DLP applies. Align Copilot agent policies with Power Platform DLP so you don't spray data across tenants like a broken sprinkler. Environments remain your friend. Ring-fence dev, test, prod, restrict who publishes agents. Approvals? Short, human-in-the-loop decisions are fine in the agent lane. Long-running approvals with escalations and SLAs belong in Power Automate. It's not purity, it's physics. Roadmap signals matter. Copilot Studio extensibility lets you wire custom connectors, call enterprise systems like SAP or ServiceNow, and orchestrate multiple agents. Admin analytics are expanding so you can stop guessing and start pruning. Multi-agent coordination is coming, which is where assistant becomes team. Here's the simple version because you need one. Workflows Agent equals intent to automation for common Microsoft 365 work. Power Automate equals enterprise-grade, durable automation for complex, long-running, governed processes. The counterintuitive part: fewer knobs mean fewer places to break. Yes, fewer. Your habit of over-tuning every toggle is not a virtue. It's a failure mode. Remember this detail. It's going to matter when we time the lapse. Agent is faster to build and safer against configuration drift. Power Automate is stronger at runtime resilience and forensic clarity. Now that you know the rules of the track, let's run the laps. Use case 1, approvals. Clicky click versus say it and ship it. Why this matters? Approvals are everywhere: purchase orders, content publishers, policy exceptions. Every hour of delay is a tax you pay because someone somewhere is babysitting a form. The difference between approved in minutes and approved by next Tuesday is usually how many knobs you insist on turning. What we're building: single approver, simple routing, and a confirmation back to the requester. No committee, no escalations, no legal review. Just the daily yes/no that gums up your calendar. Power Automate first. You add a trigger when an item is created or when a request arrives. You map fields. You drop in and start and wait for an approval. You pick approve, reject, first to respond. You wire conditions, add reminders because humans ghost, sprinkle variables. Then you test, catch a failed schema because the title field got renamed, fix it, and redeploy. It works, it's deterministic, it's also brittle. Any list change, any content type tweak, and your perfect little contraption sulks. Enter Workflows agent. You say, when a new request arrives in the SharePoint list at this URL, ask Alex to approve, then email me the result and comment. The agent reads your intent, grabs a trigger, queries graph for Alex, composes the approval, sends the notification, and shows you a test run. No pain spelunking, no schema diff anxiety. You steer with words, refine with words, test with a click. Build time. Agent wins by minutes, sometimes hours, because the edit surface is conversation, not a UI labyrinth. You'll get a working path faster than you can argue about which approval flavor to pick. The truth? Most of you overbuild approvals because the designer tempts you with options. The agent simply refuses to enable your tinkering habit. Error surface. Power Automate collapses runtime errors with explicit rules, but it expands configuration errors, field mismatches, missing connections, renamed columns, workflows. Agent narrows configuration errors because you aren't binding every field. It composes the glue for you. Fewer knobs, fewer misalignments. And yes, average user, that's good. Governance fit. DLP still applies. Align Copilot agent and Power Platform policies so approval payloads don't wander into forbidden clouds. Auditability. Power Automate offers beautiful visual traces and long-term approval records, great for audits and postmortems. Workflows agent logs activity in admin reports and keeps conversational context, but it doesn't give you the same cinematic replay. For short everyday approvals, that's fine. For anything regulated with SLAs, stay with Power Automate. Licensing. If your org already pays for Copilot, the marginal cost of these conversational approvals dips towards zero, especially when approvals happen in chat. If you're pushing thousands of back-office approvals with no chat surface, your Power Automate licenses still make sense. Don't be cute. Run the math per cohort. Limits and surprises. Agent runs within that 100-second window when it reaches out. That's fine for a simple decision and a couple notifications. It's not fine for elaborate pre-approval validation across 6 systems. Also, you won't get the same visual debugging because the point is to avoid needing it. Findings. Agent wins speed and intent capture. Power Automate wins complex branching, escalations, and SLAs. The counterintuitive part. Fewer knobs equals fewer breakpoints. Your love of microcontrols is not rigor, it's fragility disguised as craftsmanship. Practical guidance. In your prompt, specify the SharePoint URL, the approver by name or role, and the return channel. Don't make the agent guess destinations. For compliance-heavy cases, use a hybrid. Agent collects context and kicks off a durable Power Automate approval with the full audit spine. If that stung, perfect. Next, we stress your favorite busy work, data sync. Use case 2, data sync, SharePoint list updates with Planner, Teams pings. Status propagation is the daily paper cut. Someone updates a SharePoint item and suddenly 5 people need to know one task needs to exist, and Teams wants a tidy summary. Do you want it consistent and fast, or handcrafted and fragile? The scenario: on item, create or modify, notify the manager, create a planner task, and post a summary in Teams. No poetry, just signals to the right humans, reliably. Power Automate version first because you love suffering. Trigger: when an item is created or modified, fetch the item, get the creator's manager via graph. Compose the email body. Add a planner task with due date rules and checklist. Map the SharePoint link into the task description. Post a message to a specific Teams channel with a neat card. Then you handle the fun parts: planner group and plan IDs, channel IDs, HTML versus plain text, and the which field just got renamed by a well-meaning intern surprise. It's robust, it's explicit, and it's maintenance heavy. The good news? You can pin exact destinations, plan ABC, channel XYZ, and it will never guess. The bad news? Every mapping is a place to drift. Enter Workflows agent. You say, when a SharePoint item in this list URL is created or modified, email the creator's manager a summary, create a planner task for me, then post a summary to the Teams channel, operations updates. The agent assembles. Trigger, manager lookup, summary generation, task creation, Teams post. Done. You didn't pick GUIDs. You didn't map 10 fields. It infers sane defaults and shows you a test run. Build time. Agent wins by a mile for this pattern. You'll be functional before you found the planner plan ID in Power Automate. Why? Because the agent treats this as a template, one it knows, and fills blanks with graph context. Misrouting risk. Here's what most people miss. Defaults are helpful until they're wrong. Workflows agent can guess destinations if you're vague. That means your planner task might land in My Tasks when you intended onboarding 2025, or your Teams post might hit the last used channel. Preventable. Specify the SharePoint list URL, the exact planner group and plan, and the Teams team and channel by name. The more precise the words, the less room for creative interpretation. Governance and environments. Keep the same separation you pretend to have in Power Automate. Dev, test, prod. Apply DLP across Copilot, Agent, and Power Platform so SharePoint to Teams traffic doesn't hop into consumer connectors. Auditability? Power Automate still gives you the cleanest breadcrumbs. The agent shows runs in admin reports, but the visual trace in PA is superior for postmortems. Cost at scale. If your people live in chat and already have Copilot, sending notifications and creating tasks conversationally is cost efficient. Message-based consumption amortizes well. If you're syncing thousands of headless updates across departments with no chat touchpoints, your per flow per user Power Automate licenses are still economical. Error surface. Power Automate minimizes runtime surprises because you nailed every mapping. It maximizes configuration overhead. The agent minimizes configuration overhead, and by doing so removes common human mistakes. Wrong plan ID, wrong channel ID, broken HTML, trade-off accepted findings. Agent is faster for standard patterns, notify, task, post. Power Automate wins deterministic routing, advanced formatting, and reusable templates your PMO can clone. The hybrid sweet spot: let the agent catch the event, summarize context, and then call a Power Automate flow for the durable, ID-locked updates, especially when you need guaranteed routing and retrees. Practical rule: say the URL, say the groups, say the plans. Don't let AI guess. Notifications are cute, incidents are not. Speaking of which, let's raise the stakes and watch classification under pressure. Use case 3. Incident triage. IT alerts to teams with assignment. Incidents aren't notifications, they're timers. Every minute a Sev2 sits in the wrong channel, someone's SLA turns into confetti. You want first response speed without turning your workspace into a siren. The scenario: incoming alert, classify it, route to the correct Teams channel, create and assign a planner task with due date rules. No heroics, just the right eyeballs quickly. Power Automate first. You wire an HTTP trigger or a connector from your monitoring tool. You normalize the payload because, of course, they renamed severity to priority last week. You build conditions. If Sev1 and database, post in DB on call. If network, route to NOC, else go to incidents triage. You enrich with metadata, add a retry policy, and write a graceful failure path that DMs the on-call if Teams posting fails. You then create a planner task in the exact plan with a link to the incident ticket, assigned to the rotation owner, set due date math, and drop a card into the channel with a deep link. Deterministic, resilient, verbose to build. But when it fails, you know which step coughed. Enter Workflows Agent. You say, when a new incident alert arrives via this webhook, classify by service and severity, post a concise summary to the correct Teams channel, then create and assign a planner task to the on-call for that service with the incident link. The agent handles the obvious. It embeds classification with AI, picks the channel, posts, and spins up the task. It feels like cheating because, spoiler alert, it is. You skipped 16 decisions and let the agent infer them from context and prior runs. Build time: agent wins overwhelmingly. Classification is baked. You don't handcraft keyword matrices. You'll have a functioning flow before your PA version has finished its payload schema therapy. Misclassification and error rate. Here's what most people miss. Deterministic isn't the same as correct. In PA, you're only as good as your conditions, which age poorly. In the agent, AI classification adapts better to weird phrasing, until it doesn't. That's why you add a safety rail, specify a default triage channel for low confidence classifications, and instruct the agent to include its confidence score in the post. If confidence, threshold, route to triage, words. Not a tree of doom. Auditability and troubleshooting. Power Automate gives you a visual breadcrumb trail, per action results, and retry logs. Postmortems love that. Workflows Agent shows activity in admin reports, and you can open the run to see the steps, but you won't get the same microscope. If you need to prove why an alert hit the wrong channel, PA wins the courtroom drama. Approvals integration. If a Sev1 requires an instant manager acknowledgement, PA's start and wait for an approval, with reminders and escalation, is the adult in the room. The agent can request a quick confirmation, but long-running, SLA-tracked approvals still belong in PA. Governance. DLP carries over. Keep your monitoring webhooks and Teams posts inside approved boundaries. Separate environments so your test storm doesn't ping production on call. Restrict who can publish agents. You don't want interns redefining Sev1. Licensing. If your response surface is chat-heavy and you've bought Copilot, the agent's message-based model is efficient. If you're processing high-volume headless alerts across many systems, PA's per-flow economics and scaling control still make sense. Findings. Agent wins first response speed and flexible classification. PA wins resilience, traceability, and surgical control. The hybrid pattern is obvious. Agent classifies, posts the first ping, and, on confirmed Sev1, hands off to a PA flow for durable tasks, escalations, and retries. Fast, where speed matters, explicit, where accountability lives. Use case 4, CRM updates, account notes and follow-ups from Outlook. Sales Ops doesn't forgive sloppiness. If the email hits your inbox but not your CRM, the forecast becomes fiction. You want zero friction capture and zero surprise follow-ups. Yes, that means prying the notes out of Outlook and landing them in the right record every time. The scenario? An email from a key account arrives. You summarize the substance, write a CRM note on the correct account, and create a follow-up task for the owner with a due date. Bonus points for linking the original email. Power Automate first. You start with an Outlook trigger. When a new email arrives and matches a condition set, like domain equals Contoso, or the sender is in a tracked list, you pass the subject and body. You look up the account in the CRM connector by email domain. Then, because accounts are messy, you add a fallback. Try contact first, then roll up to account. You map fields into a create note action, subject body regarding object ID. You attach the email link. Next, you create a follow-up task, assign to the owner, set due date rules, say 2 business days from received, add a category and set a reminder. You wrap it with idempotency. Generate a hash from message ID to avoid duplicate notes when the message forwards. Finally, you add try-catch branches. If the account lookup returns multiple matches, send a human validation card. If the CRM API throttles, retry with exponential backoff. Deterministic, durable, annoyingly verbose to build, but future you will thank you when someone asks why 3 notes appeared. Enter Workflows agent. You say, when I get an email from any contact at the Fabricam account, summarize the key points in 2 sentences, add it as a note on the Fabricam account in CRM, include a link back to the email, then create a follow-up task for the account owner due in 2 days. The agent ingests the email, runs an embedded summarize step, resolves Fabricam via graph context and your CRM connector, writes the note, and creates the task. It feels like cheating because it collapses the mapping ceremony into intent. You don't handpick fields, you describe outcomes. Build time. Agent obliterates the setup overhead. You're live before your PA version finishes the contact account fallback logic. That's the point. Capture from context is where agents shine. Field mismatch errors. Power Automate still wins structured validation. If your CRM requires a regarding relationship type or a specific schema for notes, PA lets you enforce it explicitly and fail loud with a human-in-the-loop check. The agent composes reasonable defaults. If your CRM is unusually pedantic, you may see occasional "why did it pick that field" moments. Avoid guessing. Name the account explicitly in your prompt or include the CRM URL for the record to reduce ambiguity. Execution constraints. Remember the 100-second agent timeout when calling external systems. Simple note plus task fits. Long chains, like enrichment calls to 3 back-office systems, don't. That's where you hand off. Audit trail and idempotency. Power Automate gives you the visual trace, the message ID, dedupe, and a clean story for audits. The agent logs activity in admin reports, but you won't get the same surgical playback yet. If your sales ops leader breathes compliance, don't trust AI will remember. Implement idempotency in PA. Licensing economics. If your sellers already have Copilot and live in Outlook and Teams, the marginal cost of agent-driven summaries and task creation trends down. If you're automating for a large field org with strict CRM rules and no chat surface, PA's per flow predictability still pencils out. Findings: agent wins on capture from context and speed. Power Automate wins on structured validation, idempotency, and retrieve. Practical hybrid. Let the agent summarize and gather context, then trigger a PA flow with the email, message ID, and resolved account ID to perform the durable, schema-locked updates. Conversational front-end enterprise-grade spine. You get speed without gambling the pipeline. Use case 5. IT onboarding. From request to checklist. Onboarding is where cute automations go to die. It's recurring, cross-app, approval-laden, and audited by people who enjoy policies. Day 1 chaos equals lost productivity and a help desk bonfire. The scenario: intake request, approvals, account setup tasks, Teams channel posts, confirmations, and status reporting. Many hands, many systems, many ways to trip. Power Automate first. You build an intake form or SharePoint list. Trigger on submission. Kick off a parallel branch. HR approval, manager approval, device approval. Each branch has retries, escalations, and timeouts, because humans, again, ghost. Once approved, you orchestrate, create accounts, assign licenses, add to groups, create a mailbox alias, provision a OneDrive, drop a welcome post in the team, open tickets in ITSM, and assemble a checklist in Planner with dependencies. You add guards. If license assignment fails, roll back group additions. If HR approval times out, cancel downstream tasks. You tag every action with correlation IDs and stash everything in a durable store for audits. It's long-running, explicit, and frankly, exemplary engineering. Enter Workflows agent. You say, when a new hire request is submitted at this SharePoint URL, collect the details, confirm with the manager, create a planner checklist for onboarding tasks, post a welcome in the team new hires, and notify IT when approvals are in. The agent races through intake, nudges the manager, sets up the checklist, and gets the comms moving. It feels instantaneous because the conversational front end eliminates the configuration ceremony. But, and this is the adult moment, deep branching, SLAs, and conditional rollbacks inside a 100-second window? No. Build time. Agent is unbeatable for intake, confirmation, and kickoff. You'll have a working front door and a living checklist before your PA flow finishes its third parallel branch. Reduction in handoffs and errors. The agent's summarization and manager confirmation kill the missing fields plague. No more back and forth for the start date or job code. Power Automate then takes a clean payload and does the durable, reversible, audited heavy lifting. Governance, keep environments separated. DLP aligned across Copilot, Agent, and Power Platform. Lock publishing rights. Approvals with SLAs and escalation rules live in Power Automate, non-negotiable. Quick confirmation pings. Agents fine. Licensing. If HR and managers live in chat, the marginal cost of the agent intake drops to near zero. The marathon, licensing assignment, group membership, ITSM still justifies PA licensing where scale and durability matter. Findings. Agent starts the play. Power Automate runs the marathon. Refactor the front door to agent for speed and clarity. Keep the backbone in PA for reliability, retries, and audits. Rule of thumb, conversational front end, enterprise-grade backend. Use the right spine. The scorecard. Build time, errors, governance, cost. Time to hand out trophies. Build time first. Workflows, agent slashes set up for common patterns. Approvals, notify task post, intake, and kickoff. You'll be live in minutes, not afternoons. Power Automate is slower because you're explicit. Every mapping, every branch, but predictably so. Verdict, agent for speed, PA for precision. Errors, two kinds, configuration and runtime. Agent reduces configuration errors by refusing to let you micromanage every field. Fewer knobs, fewer misalignments. Power Automate minimizes runtime errors through explicit rules, retries, and idempotency. Verdict, agent lowers setup mistakes, PA lowers production surprises. Governance, agent now surfaces usage analytics in admin reports, respects DLP, and can be ring-fenced by environment and role. Good progress. Power Automate still wins audit trails, visual traces, environment maturity, and approvals with SLAs. Verdict, agent acceptable for everyday work, PA for regulated, long-running processes. Licensing. If you've bought Copilot and your automation's live in chat, agent workflows write message-based economics and undercut per user per flow for those cohorts. If you're running a broad portfolio of headless cross-system automations, PA's licensing stays rational. Verdict, cohort math, not ideology. Decision matrix. Simple, intent-friendly, human in the loop, agent. Complex, long-running, regulated, Power Automate. Hybrid wins most. Agent for capture and orchestration prompts, PA for durable execution and audits, the practical migration filter you'll use tomorrow. If it needs a Gantt chart to explain, keep it in PA. If you can state it in one sentence without gasping for air, draft it in agent. And when in doubt, split. Agent collects context, PA does the irreversible stuff with retries and receipts. Here's the uncomfortable truth you needed. Your manual flow hoarding is the bottleneck. The agent didn't kill Power Automate. It killed your excuse to spend a week wiring what a sentence can start in 30 seconds. Refactor plan, what to keep, what to move, what to retire. Inventory first, not vibes, facts. Pull your flow catalog and tag each by 4 attributes. Complexity, single branch versus Gantt chart. Runtime length, seconds versus days. Regulatory sensitivity, none, internal audited. And user touchpoints, chat email prompts versus headless. You'll find 3 piles faster than you expect. Keep in Power, Automate, anything long-running, multi-branch or regulated. That's your onboarding spine, multi-stage approvals with escalations, finance close checklists, ITSM rollbacks, and any integration that needs idempotency, retries, and forensic logs. If a missed SLA triggers an audit, it stays. If a flow touches 5 systems and needs compensation logic, it stays. Adult automation lives here. Move to workflows, agent, intake, summaries, notifications, status digests, and simple approvals. Anywhere, say it, run it, confirm it, applies. Examples. One approver, yes, no, list updates that ping a manager and create a task, daily summaries to teams, quick CRM note capture from Outlook. The 100-second constraint isn't a problem for these. You'll slash build time and eliminate the config drift clown show. Hybrid handoffs, the workhorse pattern. Agent collects context, validates with a human in chat, and then triggers a Power Automate flow for durable actions. You respect the time window by sending a compact payload, IDs and essentials, not your life story. The PA flow owns the heavy lifting. Schema-locked writes, retries, audit stamps, and SLAs. You get the speed of conversation and the spine of engineering. Governance setup before migration. Yes, before. Create, dev, test, prod environments for agents and PA aligned one-to-one. Align DLP policies across Copilot, agent, and Power Platform so data paths stay legal. Define who can publish agents and who can bind them to production data. Turn on admin usage reports and decide retention for agent conversations now, not after legal emails you. Playbook, pilot 10% of flows. Pick representative cohorts, approvals, data sync, sales notes. Rebuild the front door in agent where appropriate or move the whole thing if it's simple. Measure build time delta and error delta for each cohort. If the numbers hold, expand by cohort, not by enthusiasm. Document prompt patterns that work, URLs, exact group, plan names, channel names, and standardize them. Anti-patterns to avoid because I know you. Don't rebuild complex PA logic inside the agent. You're fighting physics and you will lose. Don't let AI guess destinations, names, URLs, IDs in the prompt every time. Don't promote agents straight to prod because it worked in my tenant. And don't confuse fewer knobs with less governance. The knobs move to policy, which takes us to the part IT actually cares about, controls. Governance, security, and admin reality check. DLP first. Align Copilot agent policies with your Power Platform DLP so data can't leak across tenants or into consumer connectors. If SharePoint and Teams are business only, enforce it consistently. Any connector allowed in PA that's disallowed in Copilot is a policy bug waiting to happen. Fix the matrix. Don't trust tribal memory. Auditability. Turn on the agent's usage report in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and decide retention for both conversations and actions. Define who can access run histories and how long they're kept. Power Automate still wins cinematic replays with per action traces. Use that where audits live. For agent, establish the rule. For regulated processes, the agent must hand off to a PA flow that provides the audit spine. Conversational shadows don't pass audits. Environments. Separate dev, test, prod for both agents and PA. Mirror data sources and permissions, so tests are real. Restrict who can publish agents to prod, are back at the door, approvals for promotion. Yes, require change tickets for flows and agents that touch regulated data. No, it's just AI is not a get-out-of-governance free card. Approvals, standardized patterns, quick, short approvals with a clear trail are fine in agent. Long-running, SLA-tracked approvals with escalation rules stay in Power Automate. Create templates for both so people stop improvising governance. If an approval can block payroll, it belongs in PA with SLAs, reminders, and escalation chains. Non-negotiable observability. Instrument the agent side with Copilot Studio Analytics and Azure AI safety metrics where available. Watch classification confidence, failure rates, and fallback routes. On the PA side, keep your solution level telemetry, retry counts, exception paths, average duration. Review both monthly. If you're not looking at the numbers, you're not running production, you're hoping. Risk posture. Frontier features are shiny and early. Ring-fence them. Pilot with select users, define rollback plans, and isolate data. Document what's in Frontier and what's in production support. If a feature label says directional, translate that to not a legal dependency in your policy. Your lawyers will nod grimly. Data residency and privacy. Agents inherit Microsoft 365 security baselines, but your policy must state which data is in scope for agent processing and which is not. Sensitive HR, fine with proper DLP and handoffs. Cross-tenant finance, probably not in agent without a PA spine and explicit approvals. Write it down, enforce it, change control, treat prompt text like code, version it, store blessed prompts in a repo or at least a secured list. If someone fixes the words and breaks routing, you need a diff and a rollback, not a witch hunt. Bottom line, the agent is not shadow IT if you govern it where it lives. Policy, environments, RBAC, observability. Power Automate remains your audit-grade execution engine. Together, they're governable. Separately, they're chaos. Choose together. The blunt verdict and your next move. The takeaway. Power Automate isn't dead. Your manual flow hoarding is. Agent front for speed, PA spine for durability, and hybrids for anything that pays the bills. If this saved you time, repay the debt. Refactor one approval and one data sync into agent this week. Measure time and error deltas, then graduate to a hybrid CRM update. Subscribe for the full migration workshop next episode.